Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. I am your host, Melanie Scheer, and I'm also the owner of Shear Grooming Pet Solutions. I'm a groomer who has been grooming for roughly 15 years, and this here is Castiel. He is my Pomeranian. He's going to be my little helper today, discussing some different pet grooming myths that come across that we hear all along throughout websites. Gets a lot of confusing differences. Start looking into how do you groom your pet at home. So how often should you groom your dog? Well, it does depend on what kind of dog you have, whether you have a coat like Castiel here, which has the double coat, or if you have a smooth coated dog like your pit bulls, or if you have slightly longer coat like a lab, or even like your poodles or your shih tzus. Every dog requires some sort of grooming. It just kind of depends on how much they need. With a dog like Castiel here, a Pomeranian, they require a little extra brushing to maintain the coat and to not have hair all over your house. A poodle, if you want to keep them long, or a golden doodle, if you want to keep them long and fluffy, well, that's going to require absolute daily brushing in between your grooming appointments to make sure that that coat is maintained and the dog's not getting matted. Your pit bulls, your labs, they do require some brushing because they do shed hair and they're going to get dry skin. They kind of get greasy feeling sometimes, dirt, rolling in the mud, getting all crazy dirty. So they're going to require to get groomed. Well, how often is that? Their coats shed about every 21 days. That means that that coat and that dander, that's all going to start really coming off after about 3 weeks from your last bath. So it's really good and hygienic for them to maintain them about every 3 to 4 weeks, if not more frequently, depending on the skincare your dog needs. And that brings me to another thing too, another comment. Yeah, you're gonna give me your foot. It's like, I'm gonna talk about nails, huh? All right, our next myth, or things that people don't understand with grooming, is how often do you get the nails maintained, or do you at all? There's a lot of times they're like, oh, just walk your dog out on concrete, it'll be fine, give them something to scratch in, everything will be okay. And well, unfortunately, not all dogs can maintain their nails this way. If you have a really active, all over the place dog, you guys go walking and they're putting that pressure on their toes to where they're grinding those nails on the concrete, then yes, maybe your dog doesn't need their nails maintained by a professional or by you as often as other dogs. Some dogs, though, walk towards the back of their pads and don't actually put the pressure on the nails themselves, and therefore the nail grows out. And when the nails get too overgrown, it can cause deformations in the joint that are up further into the leg, and therefore causing them to walk improperly or not want to walk at all sometimes if it gets really long, and it just makes it overall really painful for them. So ideally, to maintain the proper nail structure and be able to have the proper foot structure as well, it is best to get the dog's nails trimmed or ground down, whichever you would prefer, every 3 to 4 weeks. Just about as often as they need to be bathed, right? One of the other myths is that dogs don't need help maintaining their teeth. Unfortunately, that is not the case. They do need our help to be able to maintain nice, shiny, white, pearly teeth. About around age 2 years, sometimes sooner, sometimes later, depending again on the size of dog, how much they chew on things, overall just health of the dog. They start to form gingivitis on their teeth. There are lots of products out there that can help you maintain those teeth in between your regular dentistry work that you would get done at your veterinarian, which should be done every year, sometimes every 6 months, depending on the age of your pet. The older the pet, the more often you're probably going to need to go in and get them cleaned. You can also get chews, you can have different bones that can help supplement, but ideally, you really should try to get them used to a toothbrush and some toothpaste to get in there and really work on the gingivitis in the teeth to be able to kind of work that off. And the more often you're able to do that, the better. So ideally, I know it sounds like a lot, but I mean, we brush our teeth every day, right? We should be brushing their teeth every day. So if that seems like a lot for you to handle, maybe just work it into a weekly grooming routine. Brush their teeth when you brush your teeth. Have their toothbrush out with your toothbrush. When you're brushing your teeth, get them to come in and brush their teeth along with yours. The more often you do it and the more positive you make the experience, the better it gets for you and your pet. And obviously, the younger you start, the better. So one of the next myths and things that I wanted to discuss today is what you wash your dog in. I know a lot of people are like, oh, just use some baby shampoo, Dawn dish soap, which by the way is awful unless you're getting literal oil off of your dog. What do I use? Can I use my own shampoo? Is that going to be okay? Well, maybe for one wash, if it's an emergency, it might be okay. But really, the pH balance of dogs' skin is different than our human skin. They typically run about 6.2 to 7.4 pH balance, where we're more of around 5.5 to 5.6 pH balance. Using the shampoo that's meant for us isn't really going to be great for their skin and coat, and you might start to get dry, brittle skin, a lot of dandruff start happening, and you really start to dry them out. Now, it can be really confusing looking at a bunch of different dog shampoos because let me tell you, there are options. You have tons and tons of shampoos, conditioners, sprays, leave-ins, dry shampoos that you can choose from depending on what your needs are for the particular situation. So for Castiel here, he has the white coat. You could use a bright white shampoo for your whiter dogs to kind of brighten their coat, add a little more brightness to their coat. If they have any staining there, it can kind of help lessen the stain. Now, most of the time though, bright white shampoo is not going to get all of those red stains out that you see on your feet or around the eyes if your dog has major staining. That takes a little more requirement, daily care and supplements, changing the diet or things along those lines. You can get a conditioner treatment to help with curly coats, help with shedding problems. There's lots and lots of different options out there, but it really is best to use a shampoo and a conditioner that is meant for dogs. Another myth is that poodles and their crossbreeds are hypoallergenic. Well, for some, maybe they are. For others, not so much. When you take a poodle's curly coat that grows the way it does, and you add it with a dog like a Pomeranian, a Golden Retriever, any of those dogs that have a coat like this, that sheds, there is still a genetic chance that that dog will shed. Those puppies that come from that breeding will shed, and unfortunately, they are not going to be hypoallergenic for some people. It also really depends on what you are allergic to. Dander from the skin that attaches to the coat is the #1 cause of pet allergens. However, some people can be allergic to the dog's saliva and to the oils, particularly in retrieving breeds like poodles, golden retrievers, and Labrador retrievers. The oils that their coat produces to protect them from the water when they go to retrieve can also cause an allergic reaction in some people. Unfortunately, if you have an allergen to the oils of the coat, poodles are not hypoallergenic for you. You can still have a reaction to poodles. It can happen, but unfortunately. So it's best for when you are looking to add a new dog to your family, or if you are someone who suffers from pet allergens in general, it is best to see if you can find a breeder or someone around that has the dog or animal in general, really, that you are looking to get, and spend some time with that animal. See if you react to them when you pet them and you touch them. Just spend a couple of hours, see how it goes. If there's no reaction, you're really good. Otherwise, if you have a reaction, you're going to probably have to look into a different breed or animal in order to have a pet that doesn't cause you to have allergic reaction. One of the next myths or things that you ask when you get a dog is to shave or not to shave. I know in a lot of areas we have hot climate and everything. I know here in Missouri our summers can be pretty dang hot. You ask yourself, does a dog like a Pomeranian here need to be shaved during the summer, or is he going to be okay? Well, the answer is he'll be just fine. Their coat is actually designed that when it's taken care of properly and brushed out to keep them cool and to keep them warm in the winter climate. So it is best to just give your dog a brush, take a comb to it, take a pin brush to it, brush them out, get that loose coat out of there because that's what causing them to be hot. Just letting them be all natural. Enjoy their coat, which is partly the reason why you got them probably. Let them be themselves. The coat will maintain just the way it needs to maintain. Now, for dogs like poodles and Shih Tzus, the ones that do require coat maintenance, if you don't want to be daily brushing for a coat that reaches to the floor, you can get them trimmed trimmed down into a one length all over or a teddy bear trim, basically whatever you and your groomer decide is best for your lifestyle and situation. You can decide that. I typically like to do what's called a number 4 blade. It takes it nice and short, but leaves still some fluff so that you're not seeing skin. It leaves it a nice length, helps with maintenance during summer, especially if you go to the lake or do any sort of outdoor activities. So something else that a lot of people controversial about, or could be a myth, whether or not to color your dog. As you can see Castiel here, he has quite the colorful do going on. He's got some oranges, some yellows, and some reds going on throughout his coat. And if you want to color your pet, and you want to have fun personality, add that flair to your dog, you're absolutely more than welcome to. There are many different products out there nowadays that you can use to color your pets that are temporary to permanent to semi-permanent, depending on what you're looking for. The particular color that I use on Castiel is Opaz. All products are meant for dogs, for pets, to be able to be colored safely. They're vegan, they're cruelty-free. So if that's something that you desire, look into Opaz and start coloring. There's a fly, so he's chewing at the fly. Other benefits to coloring a spot on your dog, other than just the creative flair, is it can help identify your pet if they're lost or stolen. So you can use this color like Castiel. There's no other dog out there that looks like him. These colors on him, they're going to be easily identifiable from across the street, across the road. Pictures, people are going to really be able to see that this is my dog, not somebody else's. This color that's on him is a semi-permanent, and it lasts 9 months before it fully transitions back to his white colors. This is just our final misconception of dogs. Goodbye to Castiel. He's sat up here long enough. I think he's ready to go hang out. So we're gonna go ahead and put him on the floor. See you later, Cass. All right, guys, thank you so much for joining me today. I really appreciate it. If you liked it, please give me a like. Subscribe if you want to get more grooming information. If you have any comments or questions, concerns, like me to discuss in future videos, please leave it below. I appreciate it all, and me and Cass are out. Good night.